To MSNBC correspondent Jacob Soboroff, and you're focused on, thank you, the separation issue.
Yeah, we have to be. I've just been listening to you guys all morning talking about how these hot-button issues that the national Democrats might think are going to swing these districts are not going to be the ones to swing the districts, if the districts do indeed swing. And the separation issue, I think, for me, is one of those ones that's at the top of the list. I heard Willie asking the sheriff earlier about it. Florida, you know, the idea that Hispanics in Florida are all going to go with Democrats because of the separation is just a foolish thing to think about. And I saw it. I was talking to you guys from Florida earlier in the week. I saw it firsthand. I want to show you guys some of this. Take a look at this. This is the temporary shelter the Trump administration set up to house unaccompanied minors who came into the United States illegally, including many children who were separated from their families. And we know today there are still dozens of them inside. A few miles north of the detention facility, the area's congressman, Carlos Curbelo, took me to a window serving locals their morning Cuban-style coffee. And there, I didn't hear the outrage that separations have evoked elsewhere across the country. Can we bug you guys for a second? What do you guys care about the most?
I'm a believer that we should allow a lot of immigrants to come in, but do it the right way, legally, like I have to do it.
Just because it's a district full of immigrants doesn't mean you're going to hate that policy.
No, exactly. You know, it's not that I like it, because it shouldn't, you know, you separating family, and it gotta hurt if you're a family man like me. But as a parent, I will have never put my kids in that position.
You hear a lot of people with that opinion?
Yeah, it's a balanced view, right? We have a big heart for immigrants in this community, but we want our immigration system to be coherent and legal, and for people to respect our laws.
So you just said it while we were watching this. He's in a tough position, Carlos Curbelo. Family separations, now indefinite detention, this new Flores settlement regulation that the Trump administration put in yesterday are not the things that are going to flip the district. They don't turn off those voters there. And we even have new numbers. I think we can put the new numbers up on the screen. 416 kids separated as of yesterday from the Trump administration. And despite the fact that is a majority minority district, largely Hispanic district, this is not going to be the issue to flip that district if the Democrats flip that district.
But I want to ask you Jim Messina a question real quick. You heard Sheriff Lupe here saying that she thinks that the separation issue is going to be a huge driving motivator for a bunch of Hispanic voters who have not voted traditionally in Texas, and that's why this is the year when Texas is finally going to start to look blue. Do you agree with that?
This is not the year Texas is finally going to get blue. That day is coming, and it's going to be California in 10 or 20 years. This
but
is
not
probably not now. We're just not there. But I do think that there's one, I agree with what you're saying, but we were just talking about this turnout. Turnout matters, and the turnout that really matters are these voters who are first-time voters or voters who don't traditionally vote in non-presidential elections, and a lot of those are Hispanic. That, you know, you look at the Nevada Senate race. That's a very big issue in the Nevada Senate race because it's all about whether she can turn her voters out.
I think you're right. Go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to go to Hugo. Hugo, I'm curious what you think, because, you know, there are a lot of issues that the media is outraged by, that a lot of we'll just call Eastern elites, none that ever sit around this table, of course, are outraged by. But this child separation issue reminds me an awful lot of Katrina. Now, I remember a lot of people from my church driving over that were huge Bush fans for about 4 weeks into Katrina, and they'd go over and they just saw what was happening over there, and, you know, they pulled the Bush bumper stickers off their cars. They weren't going to vote for a candidate supporting Nancy Pelosi, but I got a feeling in 2006 a lot of them stayed home. Do we have that? Could that be where this issue is?
It could be, Joe, but I don't think that the separation issue is going to be particularly powerful. I think you heard in the interview just done that, you know, there was this guy saying, look, we want legal immigration. You know, he wants it done, but he wants it done right. I think there are a lot of people all over the country who know that parents and children are separated, not just in immigration issues, but when parents are arrested for crimes, they don't have their children with them. I think that a lot of people will think, actually, it's horrible when children are taken away from their parents, but there isn't any particular reason why illegal immigrants would be treated better than people who are arrested for other crimes all over the country. So I don't think that's going to be a highly motivating factor, no.
Which is exactly what that voter, the Hispanic voter, told the congressman.
Right, and Jacob, when you start looking at where the administration is now, I mean, we still have to keep a focus on these children. Are they looking to? Yeah, you can't see them. Where do you think, if anything, there'll be any changes in the next 60 days that could affect the election?
It's interesting that you say the next 60 days. This Flores settlement agreement that kept children out of indefinite detention with their parents is the new focus of the administration, and nothing's going to change within the next 60 days because there's this public comment period in order for them to change this. But they want to be able to keep children. This is what we should all remember. On the one track, there's 416 kids still in custody of the government. On the other, all the future families that come into this country, they want to be able to keep them in family detention indefinitely at this point, not release them out into the public. So if there is a debate about immigration going forward between now and Election Day, it should be about that. Should we be able to keep migrant children that come to this country, even though they're coming illegally, in detention indefinitely?
Jacob, thank you for your great work.
Thank you, Jacob.
We
Thank you,
really
guys.
appreciate
All the work
it.
that you do
Be great, Jacob.
on this issue.
Be great, Jacob.
All right.